What's up, everybody? Ben Razza here for Awesemo.com, and today I want to talk about line shopping, and specifically how at oddshopper.com we quickly and easily can help you identify the best lines and why it's so important that you are doing this. So before I dive into the tool and what we have over at OddShopper, I just want to talk about line shopping for people who are new to betting or just don't really know what it's all about. So simply, what is line shopping? It's exactly what it sounds like. You are going across multiple sports books to identify the best lines available before you place a bet. It may not seem like a big deal. So if you're betting a game and the point difference is, oh, it's a half a point, that doesn't matter. Honestly, couldn't be further from the truth. Over the course of a year and dozens or hundreds of bets, it adds up hugely differently if you are not taking the best lines available. And that is something here with OddShopper that we do for you. We allow you to quickly and easily see what is available. And again, I can't stress enough how big of a difference that makes. So let's dive into a real world example here with OddShopper. I'm going to go to oddshopper.com, go along the top, compare NFL, and this is going to bring up all the spreads for this week's game. So I'm going to take this game right here. We've got Monday Night Football. New York Giants, they're going to Tampa. They're a big time underdog, so they are getting points. Obviously, when you're getting points, you want a million points if you could find them. And here we look. Wow, okay, there's plus 11.5 out there over at FanDuel. That is better than every other book that we have. So clearly, we're going to want to locate this if we want to bet the Giants tonight. On the flip side, say you're a Buccaneers backer and you're saying, I'm going to lay the points. Well, you want to lay as few points as possible so you have a better chance to cover the number. There are minus 10.5s out there. Here's one at BetMGM. That is the number we want to take. So say this game happens to land on 11-point victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you bet the Bucks at the wrong sportsbook, you would lose the bet. Vice versa. If you didn't get enough points with the Giants, you would lose the bet. If you go to OddShopper and you got the correct line, the best line, you would win the bet on either side in that way. That is why it makes a massive, massive difference. I'm going to give one more example, and then we'll turn to the NBA where this is the same thing, maybe even bigger considering how quickly those lines moves. I'm going to the money line here. So now we're not talking about spreads. This is simply who is going to win the game, and the books make you lay or you get odds in terms of taking the underdog or the favorite. As you can see here, same type of example. You could lay upwards of minus 625 with Tampa, or you could shop around and minus 526. That's almost 100 points better over at Sugar House. That is a massive, massive difference. On the flip side, if you're going to the Giants, you want to maximize that opportunity if they do happen to pull the upset. Give me plus 450 here. That's significantly better than the 4-1 you're going to get over at DraftKings or BetMGM, and this is why you need to be doing this. You don't have time, I know I don't, to go through every single game manually and do this. And that is why OddShopper is so important. It does it for you. Let's do one more example here before we get out of here. Compare NBA. We're going to the hoops. Brooklyn Nets, Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Nets 5.5-point favorite at various books. If you weren't paying attention, you could get a minus 6. That is not what you want to do. And you could.
Yeah, he did. It's also changed the power play units in practice. We got old Barbie on the top PP unit now.
Oh, Barbie. Barbie and Nate Walker. Throw some shrimp on the Barbie.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever or wherever you're watching or listening. This is the Awesemo NHL DFS Strategy Show, and I'm your host, Michael Clifford, aka Slim Cliffy, joining us to give us his 25,000-word dissertation of Django Unchained, our single entry assassin, Mr. Joshua Harris. Josh, how you doing this morning, bud?
Every time I say I'm going to watch a movie, I get sucked into hockey, and then I just pass out. So, no dissertation today. We do have our bang Saturday mornings, though. So,
as always, thank you to our unofficial sponsor, of Saturday mornings here at Awesemo NHL.
We love fantasy. We love Yahoo Fantasy, but for a non-fantasy sponsor, come on, Bang.
See, Josh was made for this. He was made for selling Bang energy drinks on Saturday mornings. I absolutely love it. Before we get too much further, if you guys could throw us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. We are on the road to 69,000 subscribers. So we're almost there. We're at 68 and change. Click that subscribe button. Help us grow this channel. Click the notification bell to get alerts when we do go on the air. As Josh mentioned, we are sponsored by Yahoo. They have been our sponsor the entire season. They've been very good to us. And we have a special deal with Yahoo that we'll talk about a little bit later on the show. Let's talk about last night's slate real quick. Talking before the show, I didn't do well. I had Florida 1. I had Florida power play, Vegas 2 in a single entry last night. And then I had to blow it up because Florida's line about an hour and a half before the game came out that Barkov and Duclair were in fact not playing. So I had to completely blow up my lineup. And let's just safe to say I turned off hockey at about 10:30 Eastern last night. But I saw our good friend, Mr. G, had another good night last night, finished second in the $40, if I'm not mistaken. He had some late swaps go his way. How'd you do, Josh?
Yeah, I was early on. I was doing really well. I was up in second in the 333 for a while. Hit the Rangers 3 goal. Hit my one-off Kapanen goal. Had UC Saros. He was kind of like a late breaking news goalie, so he was only like 3%. So that was nice. And then I had 5-man Florida. And that started off really well, and then they just stopped playing after the first period. So I fizzled out, went to bed, got some good sleep, ready to break down tonight's slate. I know my boy Nils Hoglander had 2 goals and 5 shots on goal. So in my swapping madness, he ended up out of my lineup, which was tough. But I know a lot of people did well with him, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I had my hat trick pick, Sam Reinhart, my lineup, my Florida power play lineup too. I took him out when I swapped everything, goal and assist, couple shots. That's kind of the way NHL DFS goes, but we have a Saturday slate ahead of us to talk about. So let's get to some of these Saturday games. Before we get to those games, we do have free premium tools and data up on the site as we normally do. Today being no exception. We have NFL Week 14 top stacks up on the site. We have NBA player rankings. We have NHL player projections, and we have MMA fighter rankings. So NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, what have you. We have you covered up on Awesemo.com. And we'll be talking about NHL player projections all through the show. And they are free for today, so be sure to check them out over at Awesemo.com. But it is a massive 11-game slate. Let's not waste any time, Josh, because we tend to ramble on a little too long at the beginning and then run out of time at the end. So let's just jump right into these games. Washington, 3.7 implied goal total. They're going into Buffalo. The Sabres have a 2.5 implied goal total. Both these teams played last night. Washington lost to Pittsburgh. Buffalo lost to your Rangers. Buffalo looked like they tied it up there near the end of the game, but Rasmus Dahlin, completely clueless on the ice, just decided to skate offside. Like I know I don't want to get on rookies and young players and stuff like that, but he's looked poor. Let's just say that for basically this entire season. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe there's something behind the scenes or off ice that we don't know about, but it's been bad.
Yeah, and like I hate offside challenges. Like I absolutely hate it because it's like 3 inches. You don't know, but like he was like 2 feet offside, so like it wasn't close.
It was both feet in, just kind of looking around like this. Like it was not close at all. Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna have for goaltending here. I presume Vitek Vanacek is going to be going for Washington. He was the backup yesterday for the Caps. As far as the Sabres, like every goalie they have is injured except for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and he was one that started last night. So he could be going back to back. Maybe they go to Malcolm Subban, the guy they just traded for last week or the week before that. Either way, Sabres are going to be on their 4th, 5th string goalie in this one on a back-to-back with Washington in town. But obviously Washington's going to be popular with that high total. So what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, we were talking about this game before the show. Like their bottom six barely played yesterday, which was, I guess, is because they were behind and they're trying to catch up. But it's kind of weird knowing that they're on a back-to-back and they're just going to send out their top six for crazy minutes and barely play the bottom six. But hoping that the ice time evens out here, I like going back to McMichael Oshie here. You know, it's a massive total. The Sabres, you know, don't be fooled by the Rangers only scoring 2 goals. The Rangers, you know, they can't score on an empty net 5-on-5. So not that the Capitals are a great 5-on-5 team either. But this is a massive total. Could be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen on a back-to-back. It could be A.A. Rondell. It could be Malcolm Subban. We just don't know. And McMichael Oshie going to avoid the only line that matters really defensively for Buffalo, and that's Dylan Cousins. They're going to get, you know, the reason why I liked the Rangers' third line last night is because they're going to get the Cody Eakin line, and that Cody Eakin line is very high event. And they're probably going to get the McMichael matchup here. Yeah, McMichael's not scoring goals, but Oshie's on that line. It's a decent line. The minutes, the only thing that concerns me are going to be the minutes. Oshie's on the top power play. So if you even want to, you know, just like do like McMichael Oshie Ovechkin to get a little bit different, I think that's fine as well. I don't know if I'm going to be full stacking anything from the Washington side. It's just not something I like to do anyway. And this is a massive slate and they're back to back on the road. So if you want to play Washington, go for it. It's just like, in my personal preference stuff, I just have a tough time with the Capitals, but I do like the McMichael Oshie, throwing Ovechkin for some more power play. It's a good way to get a little bit different. On the Buffalo side, not super interested in much. If you want to use that top line in MME, I think that getting there, you know, the more lineups you build, Buffalo on is fine. You want a little bit of Cousins Okposo. I don't know if this is the slate, but you know, for 5,700 for the two of them, and you're trying to, you know, power play stack the Oilers or something like that, you could do worse than those two. But really, on the Buffalo side, I probably wouldn't get them in 1 to 3, 20 to 150. I'll start working them in.
Yeah, agree with you on Buffalo. I don't think there's a lot here that I like. It would just be the top line. I don't even necessarily like the second line. Just because I feel like it feels like they've been moving the wingers around too much. Like I don't feel like that line is a reliable 3-man combination. I feel like the top line is. So I do prefer the Buffalo top line, but I won't be stacking anything out of them personally. I think even in 20 lineups, I probably wouldn't get to Buffalo. On the Washington side, I do agree with you with McMichael and Oshie. In fact, I wrote up Oshie for the Power Plays article today, 55%. Or 63% scoring chance shares, sorry. And like you said, they're going to get the depth from Buffalo, 45% and under shot share, the depth lines from Buffalo. So a great matchup here for McMichael and Oshie. Do like them as a 2-man. Obviously, Washington power play is just fine because the Buffalo penalty kill is legitimately bottom 10 in the NHL. So yeah, like even a broken Oshie, Ovechkin, Carlson, or something like that, I think works just fine on a slate like this tonight. TJ Oshie is just one of my favorite plays on the entire slate, period. On the blue line, Martin Fairbury was injured last night for Washington. A lot of minutes went to Dmitry Orlov in his place. Like, if I think Orlov is going to play like 24 or 25 minutes, I would definitely have interest here. I just don't know if he's going to with a call up. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, at 3,900, I think you can maybe take the chance. He's probably going to be around 20 anyway, hopefully. But, you know, we'll see. Like, again, not super enthusiastic about the Caps despite the massive total. On the Sabres side, not much there. Maybe Mark Pysyk, but, you know, I just have to name somebody, so I'm going to name Mark Pysyk.
Yeah, not really interested in a whole lot of. The only Buffalo defenseman I'd have interest in is Robert Haig if he gets back in the lineup because he's 2,500 and he can block shots. That's about it. All right, let's get to this next game. I think there'd be a lot more interest in this one. Chicago, 2.4 implied goal total. They're going into Toronto to face the Leafs. The Leafs have a 3.8 implied goal total. That is the biggest total on the slate. So while we sit here at, it's 10 a.m. here, it's 9 a.m. for you. we don't have top stacks and ownership yet. Safe to say Toronto 1 and Toronto 2, you know, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, those guys are going to be amongst the most popular players on the slate. So how are you going to handle this game, Josh?
Man, and Andre Kasha's on up in the top line. Thank you, Marner's shoulder, for that blessing.
Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. Just one real quick. I forgot about the Washington Buffalo game. Tom Wilson was injured, left the game. Daniel Sprong took his place, and Connor Sheary and TJ Oshie were both on the top power play unit, and they were playing that top PP unit almost the full 2 minutes. Sorry, just want to mention that. Back to the Chicago game. Sorry.
Yeah, I see in the chat. Can we get a McMahon in the morning? I don't know yet. We'll have to see.
We'll see how much bang he can down over the next 30 minutes.
I'm going to keep you guys on your toes with the Vince McMahon stuff, but man, there's a lot to like on the Leafs side here. Now that Kasha moved up to that top line, I think, you know, you don't have to worry about like Wayne Simmons being up there. You know, Kasha's probably going to stick at least until, you know, Marner's healthy, or I don't even think, you know, Soup being back is going to affect that. So he's only 3,800, which makes, you know, that top line very viable because Bunting's also 3,900. I think this is a spot where you can full stack that top line. It makes a huge difference. You know, Kasha and Matthews are both on that top power play unit. Bunting's not going to kill you, but, you know, I think including Bunting is going to be a decent way to get lower ownership on Matthews and Kasha. If you want a power play stack, you know, it's going to be expensive, but Kasha helps. I think, you know, doing like a Matthews Kasha, even like Morgan Riley, we talked about it the other show. Like, I think he's back to being viable again. He's shooting the puck a lot, getting a lot of assists on the power play. I think, you know, now is the time you start including him again. Yeah, he's up to 6,200 now. So I don't know if you can full power play stack, but, you know, doing something like Matthews, Kasha, Riley is a nice 3-man. You want to go to that second line, Tavares, Nylander. I think that's fine as well. You know, they are probably going to get Taze Hagel. That's the only real, you know, defensive line for the Hawks. But like, listen, the Hawks are bad. They got a bad penalty kill. I think power play stacking is viable. But if I was going to full stack a line, it's going to be, you know, that top line. On the Hawks side, I don't know if I'm going to get to anything full stack wise. I think DeBrincat, Borgstrom, Kane makes sense on a different slate. You know, a game maybe when they're at home in a decent matchup, and you hope Borgstrom's still there when that happens, because for DFS at least, or maybe in real life, I don't know. Like, I think he's a better player there than Kirby Doc, and I just, you know, hope that he's there in a good matchup on not an 11-game slate against the Leafs, because that is a line I'm going to want to use at some point. I don't think tonight's the night though, so don't mind, you know, maybe a Kubalik one-off 30, like that third line, Kubalik, Doc, Khrushchev, super cheap. I just don't know if you need to get that creative on this big of a slate in a tough matchup. So really, this is just a Leafs game. Yeah,
I agree with you on Kane, Borgstrom, DeBrincat, and like Borg and DeBrincat have good numbers together this year. I just 2.4 on the road when there's so many other better spots. If this was like a 5 or a 6 game slate, I consider it. 11-game slate, I don't really see the need, especially if you're only playing 1 to 3 lineups. So I agree with you. I think the way I'm going to go with Toronto is just power play stacking. The Chicago penalty kill has just been really, really bad for a while now. We're talking like bottom 5, bottom 10 by, you know, shots allowed, scoring chances allowed, all that. So Toronto's power play has just been on an absolute tear for about the last 4 or 5 weeks, like absolutely a top 5 power play. So with Kasha being where he's priced, and Jake dropping in chat that projections are up, and I see Austin Matthews projected for over 20 DK points tonight. Yeah, Toronto power play stacks. So like Matthews, Kasha, Tavares, or Matthews, Kasha, Nylander, or Matthews, Kasha, Nylander, Riley, something like that. It is expensive, but like you said, Kasha helps make it a little bit cheaper. So Toronto power play for me. On the blue line, you said Morgan Riley one-off is fine. I agree with that. On the Chicago side, I think Connor Murphy and Calvin DeHaan make a lot of sense as shot block bonuses on DK. Anybody else?
Really about it. Seth Jones 7,500 is out of bounds unless you're, making Chicago power play stacks, which if you are, I will light a candle for you.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it in 150s, having him as a one-off and things like that as a high-priced defenseman. I don't think I'll be getting to him here tonight. All right, let's get to this next game. Anaheim 2.8 implied goal total. They're going into Pittsburgh. The Penguins have a 3.3 implied goal total. Excuse me. No Jake Gensel, no Brian Rust for the Penguins. Those are the two best goal-scoring wingers, so they do have depth. It's still a hit. Anaheim on the other side, I assume John Gibson is going to start. Obviously, with no Ryan Getzlaf, I presume Travis Zegras and Milano and Raquel is going to be the top line for Anaheim here. So might be something on the Anaheim side. People have been playing them a lot. They probably won't get much ownership here tonight, despite they are a very good line. 2.8 total too. That's not nothing. What do you think here, Josh?
Yeah, I wish these teams were rested. Ducks are 4-6. Pittsburgh's back-to-back. They're at home, so I mean, they obviously didn't go anywhere. But I don't know. The numbers on the Ducks top line are still insane. The problem is their price has gone way up since earlier in the week, and they're going to get the Crosby Rodriguez matchup. They're probably going to be low owned for that reason. And I think, in 20 max, 150 max, they're probably going to be a sneaky option. In 1 to 3, I don't think I'm going to get to any of Zegras. I'm not sure I'm going to get to any Crosby either. I think this game really as a whole, just because of all the games they played recently, Pittsburgh back-to-back with, there's other lines that on teams that are rested that I like a lot more in the similar price range. With Kapanen, Kapanen's price went down. He's only 2,800. So that line really 7-8. They're 15.5 to full stack, which is it is tempting. It's just, they're going to get that Zegras line, which has insane 5-on-5 numbers. Gibson worries me. Back-to-back worries me because they're Crosby's not a young buck anymore. He's no longer a spring chicken. He's had his concerns, recently, battling COVID or whatever. So I think this is an MME game for me. In one lineup, 1 to 3 lineups, maybe a one-off Jason Zucker because he's on the top power play now at 3,100. I don't mind that. But really, this is an MME game for me.
Yeah, I do like Pittsburgh 1 here. Erod and Crosby have been very good together. I just worry about that matchup. Like you said, if they're going to go into the Zegras line, that's not really a good matchup for them. If they go into any other line, it's a great matchup for them. So I'm going to sit here and say I will probably at least considering Pittsburgh 1 in my 1 to 3s here tonight. Just because, well, one reason is because I don't think they're going to carry a ton of ownership, especially when you see St. Louis and Toronto, Edmonton later on the slate at home we're going to talk about. So I don't think Pittsburgh's going to carry much ownership. And Anaheim's penalty kill, the bottom's about to fall through here real soon. Bottom 10 penalty kill by shot and expected goals against metrics, but 968 save percentage. That could easily drop 100 points in the next week, and he would still just be an average save percentage on the penalty kill. He's going it is really going to fall through. I'm hoping it's going to start here tonight. So, a Crosby, Erod, Letang, something makes sense to me. That's all I'm looking for in this game, though. On the blue line, there's not really anybody that stands out to me on the blue line in this game. I think the Anaheim guys are really starting to get expensive, and it feels like the Pittsburgh guys, you're just throwing darts. And I get at that price, you're kind of throwing darts anyway, but it feels like throwing darts to another level when you're picking 1 out of 3 Pittsburgh defensemen that are similarly priced.
Yeah, I know Matheson had 2 assists last game, but his ice time still wasn't great. Josh Manson and Hampus Lindholm on the Duck side is not bad if you're punting, but there's not one guy I'm going, yeah, man, in my one lineup, I got to get this guy in. I think it's going to be somewhere else.
Yep, I agree with that. I'm going to jump to the YouTube chat. See a super chat from Sam Schaefer. It says, took down the 444 on FanDuel last night using Awesemo tools. Longtime fan of the show. Keep up the great work, guys. The insight and discussion is a big part of my lineup building process. Great job, Sam. Love hearing that. I think the 444 is 5K to first, if I'm not mistaken, right? Over on FanDuel.
I haven't opened FanDuel's app since 2012, so
I didn't see the contest size last night, but I think it's usually 5K to first. So great job, Sam. Thank you very much for the super chat. Glad we can help you out, and glad that our tools. Oh my God, I didn't want to finish that sentence. Congratulations. Just congratulations on finishing in first place in the 440.
Our tools are behind you, Sam.
Oh God. I think I have to do an ad read at this point. Get access to all the great Awesemo Plus tools and content for nearly every DFS sport out there with an Awesemo Plus weekly pass for $29.95. This includes full access to all the premium content and tools on Awesemo.com, including player projections, ownership projections, our premium Discord, our lineup builder, and a whole lot more. If you're a new user of Awesemo Plus Platinum, then you can take advantage of the promo code we have for this show, which is NHL Strategy Show, all caps, all one word, NHL Strategy Show, for 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You can find the link to activate this coupon in the description of the video below. Of course, if you're only looking to play NHL DFS, then you can sign up for one of our NHL or Awesemo Plus NHL packages, for as low as $3.95 a week. Stop guessing, start winning. Join Awesemo Plus today. It's NHL Strategy Show, all caps, all one word, 25% off your first week of Awesemo Plus Platinum. All right. Next game, Montreal, 2.5 implied goal total. They're going into St. Louis. The Blues have a 3.6 implied goal total. I was mentioning to you before the show about all the Montreal Canadiens injuries that they have. They're basically missing a second and a third line. Christian Dvorak out, Tyler Toffoli out, Joel Armia out, Josh Anderson out, Brendan Gallagher out, Paul Byron out. Though they're effectively missing their second and third lines. That is just way, way, way too much talent for this team of all teams to be missing. And I think that really reflects the 3.6 total that you see here from St. Louis. Want to know, David Perron was skating at practice yesterday for St. Louis on the fourth line, but he didn't skate on the power play with them. That tells me that he's not quite ready to return, but that he's skating on the fourth line and not as an extra tells me he's right on the cusp. So maybe he comes back here tonight, sitting here at 9:30 in the morning Eastern. We just don't have that information yet. Just watch out for David Perron. What do you think about this game, Josh?
Nate Walker, how you doing?
Oh man,
no. I like the top line for the Blues tonight. I'm going to keep that Perron news in the back of my head, but O'Reilly, Kyrou, you're going to get Suzuki, Drew, and Hoffman. I mean, there's not really a matchup on the Canadiens that really worries me. I guess, Lekin and Evans is decent, but I still like Buchnevich, Tarasenko there as well. For whatever reason, Ivan Barbashev on the top power play unit, whatever. But I think, for the Blues, it's that top line for me. You want to use Buchnevich, Tarasenko, I think that's perfectly fine as well. Braden Shen, interesting one-off. You want to do like O'Reilly, Kyrou, Shen for some power play stacking, I think that's fine. Montreal takes a bunch of penalties. They don't have a great penalty kill. I don't think the Blues can, well, I'm sure they could, troll us with another 6 goals from Nate Walker and like Nico Mikkola and Dakota Joshua. But, for me, Blues won, Blues power play. On the Canadian side, like O'Reilly getting Suzuki kind of takes me out on them. And there's just not much else there. Like Cole Caulfield one off at 2,800, maybe. Like I just, the Canadians are just so banged up. Like I think I'm just going to be out on the Canadians.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in the Canadians here tonight. Like none. If you're saying you're going to one off like a Sherratt or a Savard or something like that, or maybe even one off Mike Hoffman, the old revenge narrative, Mike Hoffman. I think that's okay, but that's it for me from Montreal. It's St. Louis side for me, and I'm gonna go. I like the second line here: Barbashev, with Buchnevich and Tarasenko. Now, I'm not a big Ivan Barbashev fan, but Barbashev and Buchnevich, 57% shot share together this year, about the same scoring chance share. I can't imagine adding Vladimir Tarasenko was going to hurt those numbers, and perfectly correlated on the power play with Scott Perunovich. So, if you want to leave off Barbashev, you can put Buchnevich, Tarasenko, Perunovich for a little 3-man power play. And that power play unit for St. Louis has generally been better than the O'Reilly one this year. So I think both top, obviously both St. Louis top 6 lines are fine here. I think personally for me, I'm going to save some cash and go down to the Perunovich, Barbashev power play unit. So with Buchnevich and Tarasenko in this one. On the blue line, Justin Falk and Jake Wallman both out. Colton Parayko's price jumped $1,000 from the last slate, though. So it's not just lock and load Parayko anymore. What do you think here, Josh?
Yeah, Perunovich makes sense if you're using St. Louis 2 there. Torrey Krug just feels bad, putting him in your lineup. But if you're doing that if you're using the O'Reilly unit, I think Krug makes some sense. On the Canadian side, I don't even know, man. Like Cale Clegg, not even on the top power play unit anymore. You want to put in Chris Weidman? Like, no. I think like Savard or Sherratt, or just, or nobody.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning to nobody this game. All right, let's get to our next game then. We have New Jersey with a 2.5 implied goal total. They're going into New York to face the Islanders. The Islanders have a 3.2 implied goal total. I think this is a spicy game that we have ourselves here. New Jersey played last night. Should mention they moved around their lines. Dawson Mercer, his numbers have stayed pretty good since the return of Jack Hughes, but they threw him all around the lineup last night. Really unreliable line mates and combinations. So I don't know how you would use Mercer here tonight, but Thomas Tatar moved onto a line with Jack Hughes, and I think that's a pretty significant move for them. That gives them a good two-way winger on that line. But I also kind of like the Islanders side here, believe it or not. So what do you like in this game, Josh?
Yeah, I do like the Islanders. Excuse me. I do kind of like the Islanders tonight. And, you want to go to that top line, I think that's perfectly fine. Barzal, Lee, they're not super expensive, and they're probably not going to have much ownership because everyone is kind of sour on the Islanders recently. So, Blackwood played last night. It's probably going to be Johnny Bernier. I'm not sure the matchups really matter because, like we talked about yesterday, like all the Devils lines have similar, numbers, like insanely close. It's just creepy, kind of actually. But so I don't think the matchups truly matter. So, Anders Lee, Barzal makes some sense. I kind of like that second line. A little bit like JG Pageau, Palmieri, but really, it's Lee, Barzal. For me, you want to throw in, Noah Dobson. I think that's a decent 3-man. Like the Devils take a ton of penalties still. Their penalty kill is good, but it's not Blackwood. It is Bernier. I don't know, save percentage wise how they're doing on the penalty kill, but Bernier's at this stage in their career is probably a step down from Blackwood. On the Devils side.
That's the other thing about this game is Blackwood played last night, and they said Bernier is going to be hurt for a little while.
Okay, so
it could be an AHL goalie here for New Jersey.
Yeah, or they're going to send out Blackwood. I don't know what their schedule looks like going forward, but, either way, it's Blackwood on a back-to-back or their third-string guy. So, yeah, I do like Lee, Barzal, Dobson. On the Devil side, if Tatar sticks up there with Hughes, Sharangovich, that's my line. I was kind of on the Hughes, Sharangovich line last night. I just didn't get to them in 1-3. I think, it is back-to-back on the road, but it's not like a far travel. No. They're in, it's just, driving down Long Island. It probably took like 12 hours because the LIE is just like the worst place on earth. But Hughes, Sharangovich, Tatar interests me a lot. I don't know how much I'm going to get in 1-3 just because, they're back-to-back on the road with the 2.4 total. But that's an interesting line for me. I think, that's 5.5 total, and we're just like, there's so many lines that I like. you want to go to that Heischer line, I think that's fine. But for me, I think it's going to be Islanders 1, Devils 2. And my favorite line out of this game is that Islanders top line.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Devils. I like the Tatar Hughes duo a lot here, assuming that's a line. We'll probably get some sort of confirmation around 5 Eastern or something like that when the coach does a little availability. So we're going to have to wait until then. But I do like the Tatar Hughes duo theoretically. But I agree with you on the Islanders top line as Barzal and Lee for me. You can stack the top line for under 15K. 2 of the 3 on the top power play unit. You mentioned New Jersey, second most penalties in the league. Yes, they do have a good PK, but how good is that penalty kill if you're starting an AHL goalie here tonight, right? So, and the Islanders top line has been good since the return. 59% of the scoring chance share in 5 games since returning from that COVID break or whatever. So, yeah, and you know, Anders Lee's, like I mentioned, his price came down. So I do like Islanders 1 here tonight. They're definitely going to be in consideration for me in 1 to 3 lineups. On the blue line, you mentioned Noah Dobson. Obviously, he makes sense at 4,600. On the New Jersey side, Ryan Graves' price is under 4K now. This is a guy that was like 5,500 only a couple weeks ago. I do like him at 3,900. Anybody else stick out to you?
Yeah, Graves, Severson. For whatever reason, Dougie's back to back and his price went up. I don't sure. But I don't know how much Dougie I'm gonna be getting to. It's probably Graves or Severson, and only Dobson for the Islanders. Like the other guys are cheap, but I don't know what they're doing with their minutes. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree with that. Not a whole lot for defensemen there, other than Graves. We have partnered with Yahoo Fantasy this NHL season to bring you some great offers. Check out our exclusive limited time offer, which gets you 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. To qualify, you need to be new to Yahoo. Sign up for an account via the link below, deposit and play. That's it. Yahoo will send us your name after you've played in your first paid contest, and we will reach out to you via email with your coupon. If you need immediate access, email support@awesemo.com and we'll get you set up right away. You can also claim a free $10 of site credit by clicking the link in the video description below, which can be used to enter any Yahoo contest, including the $1 million NFL Baller coming up tomorrow. Make sure to use our DFS tools and projections designed specifically for Yahoo to give yourself the best shot at winning big. So first time Yahoo users, not a bad deal to get yourself acclimated to DFS, lower prize pools, but softer competition. And you'll get our DFS content, premium content and tools to help you along the way. So not a bad little deal. Thank you to Yahoo for being our sponsor. All right, let's get to this next game. Philly is going into Arizona. Philly has a 3.4 implied goal total. Arizona has a 2.7 implied goal total. I went through both teams played last night. Philly won in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. And then Arizona lost 3-1 to Florida. Lines relatively stayed together for both teams. So as of right now, I don't think there's any lineup changes to really worry about. Nick Schmaltz was back for the Arizona Coyotes, but he was not on the top power play unit, and he played about 15 minutes, including secondary power play time. So he's not a focal point of that team, at least just yet. What do you think about this game, Josh?
This is the people's main event.
It is.
Yeah. Marty Jones. No, we're not Vince McMahon in this game. Jesus Christ. Man, I don't know what I want to do with this game. I think this is a tough game because both teams are just awful. But the thing is, if you put awful against awfuls, someone's awful is going to score.
Well, yeah, double and negative leads to proof positive, right? I learned that in math class at one point.
Yeah. I think I kind of like the Frost Drew Atkinson line.
I'm glad you said that because it kind of tickled my fancy. Yeah, go ahead.
Because the one line, okay, they're not great, but the one line you kind of want to not avoid, but Keller, Boyd, Kessel, they've actually been okay. They're not getting absolutely run over. It's I guess the way.
Like the Taves line is in Chicago, we call the Keller line Arizona good. They're not good, they're Arizona good.
Yeah. And so Drew at center is whatever, but they're gonna get Barrett Hayton, Lawson Krause, or Jay Beagle in in 2021. Like, so like, I kind of like that line, like Atkinson and Frost are on the second power play unit. Drew's on the top power play unit, but like Flyers split their power play time pretty evenly. So I wouldn't, worry about that. And like the Coyotes penalty kill is just horrific. Cam Atkinson being under 4K interests me a lot. Like he shoots the puck. So like Flyers second line interests me. Like maybe the Coyotes top line. I just want Travis Boyd on the top unit. Like it just like I can't wrap my noggin around it. But like Keller Kessel 2-man, I like is fine. You want to put them with Ghost. I think that is going to be a very, very low owned three-man stack. I don't know if I'm going to get there in 1 to 3, but like honestly in MME, like I know I made fun of how bad this game is, but I think you should have at least a little bit of both sides in MME.
Yeah, I will just skip right to the part that I like the best, and I think it's the Philly top line, Couturier, Konechny, both playing even strength together, both playing power play together. Even without Giroux on the line, they do have good offensive numbers. Going back a few years, not great offensive numbers, but definitely above average. And all you need is above average against this Arizona team. I just want to talk about the defensemen real quick, because I think the defensemen are very important here. Justin Braun is down under $3,000, and I get he's not playing a ton of minutes. Actually, he is playing more minutes of late, 22 in each of his last 2 games. Like Justin Braun, like he's always graded out well in my personal projections. I have to imagine he's going to grade out well here for a lot of people tonight. But at the same time, I think there's defensemen all across this game. I like Jacob Chikrin tonight, even though he's not getting top power play minutes. I like Ivan Provorov tonight as well. I think there's a lot of defensemen I like. Is there anybody specific that you like here?
Yeah, I think Chikrin definitely makes some sense. Like he's going to be super low owned because he's 6,900. Ghost makes some sense. Braun for sure, Provorov, Ristolainen, Sanheim. Just like if you have a personal preference, you play that guy. I think on the Flyer side, I'd probably go Braun, Ristolainen, Sanheim. Arizona, I think you stick to correlating, or you can use Chikrin as a one-off.
Yeah, throwing Gostisbehere with your stacks, but I think Chikrin is absolutely fine here as a one-off tonight. All right, next game, Boston 2.6 implied goal total. They're going into Calgary. Flames have a 3.0 implied goal total. Matchups here may matter. The Calgary second line, Coleman, Backlund, Mangiapane, probably going to see a lot of the Boston top line, and that's going to put the Calgary top line against Boston's second and third lines. Now, still good, but definitely not Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak. What do you think about this game, Josh?
Yeah, I think Calgary 1 is going to go under-owned tonight, and we'll see the ownership, but I love playing Calgary when they're under-owned. When they're over-owned is a mess, but when they go overlooked, I think it is a good spot here. I don't know if I'm gonna get to them in 1 to 3, but like I think at the surface, a lot of people are just gonna assume that Bergeron's gonna go against Lindholm and it's gonna keep the ownership down on Calgary 1. So I think this is gonna be a pretty high leverage spot. I like getting to them. They might even be on my cut in 1 to 3. We'll have to see. I haven't started building lineups yet, but that second line's pretty good. It's like not the best matchup, and that reflects in the totals, but I think they're a sneaky play tonight. That second line going against Bergeron, Marchand, like it kind of takes me out on them. They're just a really good defensive line. Like both lines are really good defensive lines. So I don't know how much Boston won I'm going to get to either. 2.6 total on the road. So really, like from this game, I think it's just Calgary 1. Obviously, if you want to get some Boston 1 and MME, I think that's fine. 1 to 3, I'm gonna pass. That Backlund, Coleman, Mangiapane line has been excellent defensively. I talked about my concerns with Boston 1 with minutes, and they honestly just haven't looked great either. So I don't want to pay that price on the road in a low total. So I think, honestly, Calgary 1 for me.
Yeah, I won't drone on too much longer in this game because I just completely agree with you. I'm not in on Boston. In this game, I think that Boston top line matchup is absolutely brutal. And it's not like the Calgary Flames are a team that take a ton of penalties either. So it's not like Boston's power play, which it's been better, but it hasn't been elite. It's not like Boston's power plays in a smash spot either. And I think that's probably why you're seeing 2.6 total. Like Boston has a lower total tonight than Anaheim. You know what I mean? So like, let's keep it in check when we talk about let's play a $24,000 line tonight or something like that. You know what I mean? So out on Boston, Calgary won. I don't think I'm going to get there in 1 to 3 in 20 max. I absolutely would have, 1 or 2 Calgary 1 lineups here tonight. On the blue line, Chris Tanev, 2,700 for Calgary really sticks out as one of those shot block possibility guys. Anybody else on the blue line stick out to you in this game?
Not really. There's not someone that I really want to get in there. And I will say I really like Jacob Markstrom tonight. We'll get to goalies later, but I just wanted to say that I really like Markstrom tonight.
Yeah, it's funny because I think I'm probably going to end up on the other side of the goalie train there as well. But I think both goalies are definitely going to be in play for me out of this game, regardless.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one where both goalies are probably not going to be in play. Carolina 2.9 implied goal total going into Edmonton. The Oilers have a 3.2 implied goal total. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's not Connor McDavid with the highest center projection on the slate. We have Austin Matthews projected considerably higher than him, despite Carolina being the most penalized team in hockey. In my Power Plays article, I'm probably going to write up Vincent Trocheck in this game. So it's probably pretty obvious what I like here. What do you like, Josh?
Yeah, I like that Jarvis Trocheck matchup line. Yeah. Like, people just love using Edmonton and they forget that the Edmonton Oilers are just bad defensively. So they're going to avoid McDavid. They're going to get whatever matchups down there, like Fogle, Cassian, McLeod, like get out of here. Like Jarvis, Trocheck, Natchez, not expensive at all. Like they're probably my favorite filler on the night. You want to get to Niederreiter, Teravainen, Aho. I think that's also fine. McDavid, we talk about it. McDavid's line is very high event. They're very back and forth hockey. So I think you can get to Carolina 1 as well. I just really like that Trocheck, Jarvis, Natchez line. On the Oilers side, with the amount of penalties that Carolina takes, it's power play, stack or bust. Like it's usually like that for me with Oilers. And Draisaitl's down under 9K now. Hyman's under 6K. Like this is a pretty, and for the Oilers, they're pretty affordable tonight. So you want to do like a Hyman, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, like you can do it. Like it's not going to like completely destroy your lineup like a Florida power play stack yesterday. You can do it. You want to full stack that top line, Puljujärvi's under 4K. That's fine, but I think I'm going to power play stack. I wish it was Nurse on the power play. Barry's back on the top power play unit. I think, you don't have to put Tyson Barrie in. And then, Russell's out. And, so that leaves min price Philip Broberg in the lineup. That's another interesting play. But on the Oilers side, power play stack and Carolina 3 or 2, however you want to, the Trocheck line.
Yeah, it is the Trocheck line that is of interest to me on the Carolina side. The reason I say that is a few reasons. One, Trocheck and Jarvis generating over 60 shot attempts and 2.5 expected goals per 60 minutes, both well above average offensively so far this year. And two is, Edmonton second lines, 46% of the shot attempts and 43% of the scoring chances. So that matchup, like you mentioned, for Trocheck is good as well at even strength. And then it's the Edmonton penalty kill. The Edmonton penalty kill has been bottom 10 over the last month. And Trocheck is the lone guy off his line on that power play unit. So I think he makes sense as a one-off here tonight. I think line stacking them makes sense because they will be cheap. It is a 2.9 total. That is absolutely not nothing. It's one of the higher road totals on the slate, if I'm not mistaken, if you want to exclude that Washington smash spot. So I like Carolina too. but it's obviously this is another Edmonton slate. It's especially when you see a price drop. Price drop is always like, yeah, I'm interested in Edmonton again. So I agree with you on Edmonton power play with how often Carolina takes penalties. So Edmonton power play, Carolina 2 for me in this game. On the blue line, Jacob Slavens played a 32 minutes in his last game or something like that, and like 30 minutes the game before. I guess that's playable at 5,600. Anybody else stick out to you?
Second pair of Broberg, Cece. Whoop, boy. I think Nurse at 6,700 is a great play, or Bouchard if you can't fit him in. I'm just sour on Barry down at the third pair. If you want to include him in power play stacks, I think that's fine. Yeah, Slavin just never leaves the ice. Brady Shea is a decent punt at 2,800.
All right, let's keep this moving. We have an Awesemo Hall of Fame here where we like to celebrate our subscribers winning, our viewers winning, whoever winning. And we'd like to get you guys in the Awesemo Hall of Fame, and this is how you can do it. You download the Awesemo avatar from awesemo.com/avatar. You place in the top 3 of a contest with over 5,000 contestants, and you tweet your wins to the Awesemo Hoff account. You do all that, you can win a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, but just beware, you can only win 1 free month per year. You'll see Swiper taking down, it was almost 6 figures one night, but it doesn't have to be 6 figures. As you see, DJ Hooper taking down second for $1,000. That can get you in the Awesemo Hall of Fame as well. So be sure to send in your wins to the Awesemo Hoff account. I will mention to Sam Schaefer, who took down the 444 last night, might not be a bad idea to send in that screenshot to the Awesemo Hoff account as well. All right, let's get through these final 3 games. We have about 7 minutes to do it. Columbus, 2.8 implied goal total. They're going into Seattle. Seattle has a 3.4 implied goal total. This game opened at a 6.5 total. Columbus, Seattle, 6.5 total. Now, overnight it moved down to 6, but obviously they're still clearly expecting a lot of goals here tonight. What do you like in this game, Josh?
The first thing that jumps off the page is Oliver Bjorkstrand's price. He's down under 5K now. He was like 7,400, not even like 3 shows ago. So like, I really do like that top line. We talk about it. Seattle on paper, decent defensively. Philip Grubauer can't stop a nosebleed. He actually got he got the saves bonus last game. I don't know. I like that Columbus top line. I like the Columbus second line, Domi, Roslovic, Voracek. They're, I like them as a filler. I don't know if I believe in the total. Like if I saw 6.5 open, I would have just slammed the under, which apparently a lot of people did because it came down to a 6. You're still expecting goals. I think I'm going to go to the Columbus top line. If you want to leave off Gregory Hoffman and put in, Werenski, I think that's fine. You want to put in Voracek instead of Robinson, I think that's fine as well to get power play. But I don't know, if I'm, going to be, jamming in Columbus power play stacks tonight. On the Seattle side, these lines are just not my favorite. I guess, Eberle. But I just it's a 3.3 total, but there's just not a line that I just want to play. Like these lines are a mess. Maybe they change up their lines in morning skate. We don't know. It's a 10 o'clock game, so they're probably going to skate, in like 3-4 hours. But as the lines are constituted, there just isn't a line that I want a full stack. So unless the lines change, I'm probably going to be underweight on Seattle.
Yeah, it's the Seattle top line I do want to mention. Schwartz, Eberle, Wenberg, 56% shot share together this year, 63% of the scoring chances. They've been really good. And part of that is they see the depth matchups from the opposing team. So they're going to see a lot of Columbus 2 and a lot of Columbus 3 here tonight, which is obviously very good. We've talked a lot this season about how the Columbus team just isn't the same with the top line off the ice, and that's persisted all year long. On the Columbus side, I also like that top line, the Jenner Bjorkstrand duo. And the reason is Seattle has one bad defensive line, and it's the line they use as a shutdown line. The Gord Tanev line has not been good this year. 47% of the shot attempts, 48% of the scoring chances. That's nowhere near good enough for a shutdown line. So Columbus won, Seattle won, like them both. Adam Bokvis going to be out on the blue line for Columbus here. So Jake Bean probably going to get a lot of minutes. Anybody else stick out to you?
Gavrikov, if you like him. That's really about it. Jamie Alexiak, if you want. I just wanted to say his name.
All right, fair enough. Let's get to the next game. Minnesota is going into Los Angeles. Minnesota has a 3.1 implied goal total. The Kings have a 2.5 implied goal total. I noticed the Kings top line is starting to limit shots a little bit, but shot quality, not so much. I think I know where you're going with this game, Josh, but what are you saying here?
My friends, Minnesota one night. Listen, the Kopitar matchup, starting, to get a little bit better defensively, but like it is not the matchup it was a few years ago. No. And Hartman Kaprizov's numbers together are just ridiculous. This is, you throw in Zook for under 5K, all fully correlated on the power play. Not that you're like running to jam in Minnesota power play. It's awful, but I really love Minnesota one tonight. Yeah, like that's the line for me. Like looking at the matchups, like I think that checking line may actually get Danault. So I don't know. I think it's honestly just like a Minnesota one game for me. Probably going to be out on the Kings. Maybe a one-off Anthony Ciu if he's in a decent spot, but that's really about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on Minnesota one. I'm going to be writing up Kirill Kaprizov for the Power Plays article. Big note with him. He's up to like 3.3 or 3.4 shots per game. So that's a big change from him last year where he wasn't shooting as much. Like he's a legitimate shot bonus threat every game now. Chug that bag, buddy. So I do like Minnesota one a lot here tonight. Probably going to be it for me from this game. Alex Goligoski on the blue line sticks out. Anybody else stick out to you on the blue line here?
Really, if you're using, be interesting to see if like Jared Spurgeon gets his top power play time back because he's only 4,400. Jonas Brodin 4,900 on the power play right now. But yeah, Goligoski. It's really about it. There's nothing really on the Kings side that I want to play. If you want to punt like Edler and hope he like falls into 3 pucks, sure.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, let's get to this next last game then. Dallas 2.9 implied goal total going into San Jose. The Sharks have a 2.7 implied goal total. San Jose 2, I actually looked up their numbers. They're fine, not great. Actually, not even that good. 42% shot share, 40% scoring chance. The San Jose 3 has been going up against top lines more of late though. So maybe that's a better matchup for Dallas 1. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah. Bonino, Cogliano, Nieto. Like, come on, man. Just throw out Couture. Dallas 1 pretty expensive, but like they have a high total on the road. It's one of the higher totals on the slate. I think Dallas 1's definitely in play. Yeah, fully correlated on the power play. Rope hits 7K. Like visually, it hurts. Like he was 6,900 the other night, and that feels just way better than 7K. I don't know what it is. It's a mental thing, but like Dallas 1 in play. I don't mind Ben Radulov either. You want to throw in Peterson, sure, but really this is Dallas 1. I do like the Sharks top line tonight as well. Couture down to 5K makes that very viable. Timo still over 7K, but like Couture, Dahlin, 8,400 for the two of them. So that line's 15-5 full stack. I think Sharks 1 definitely in play. I think people are going to go to Sharks 2 as well. I don't have much interest in them.
Yeah, this is a Dallas 1 game for me. The Sharks penalty kill has definitely fallen off. Dallas perfectly correlated on the top line, reasonably priced, under 19K. All right, we got to get out of here. Josh, I'm going to ask you for your hat trick picks and your goalies. My hat trick pick is Andre Kasha. My goalies are John Gibson, Mikko Koskinen, and Elvis Merzlikins. Who you got?
Yeah, I like Merzlikins, Markstrom. Don't even mind Cam Talbot tonight. And I think I'm going to go with Kirill Kaprizov.
There you go. Your hat trick picks for tonight: Andre Kasha, Kirill Kaprizov. For producer Chris, for Josh Harris, I'm Michael Clifford saying good luck tonight, everybody. We'll be back Monday or Tuesday.